Morning, everyone. Dave Barnum here for another installment in my 53 Bridges series. My theme for today runs along the lines of this thought: take a trip and discover a whole new worldview. We're going to go back to the year 1992. I took a group of young people from the city of Calgary, 12 of us, and we traveled over to Russia, to Moscow, and to Krasnodar, Russia on the Black Sea. And of course, this is a time in history when the Iron Curtain has come down, the Cold War is finishing and ending, and Russia itself, the USSR, had come to an end. So we traveled over there. We had quite a few responsibilities, and not least of which was the transporting of a brand new load of pajamas, some other supplies, and some wheelchairs to a veterans war camp in the heart of that nation. Now, when we arrived there, I want to describe to you what transpired that particular day on a trip that I think was about 17 days long in total with that team from Calgary. But here's my experience, or our experience, at that camp. And this is from my journal from July the 7th, 1992. Today was fantastic. I feel one of the most incredible days of my life. We went to the War Veterans Home. The Cossack greeting was remarkable. You would not have believed the singing. The traditional salt and bread greeting was so warm. Everything from the trees, the landscape, the buildings, the uniforms, the dresses and the costumes, the dancing, it was phenomenal. I felt like I was in a movie. The accordion playing was fantastic. We ate. The Russians sang. We cried. They cried. We all laughed. It was wonderful. I felt as if we were all one. Young Charlene spoke, and she encouraged everyone so well. We loved them, and they loved us. They gave us so many gifts. Rowney, our dear secretary, who was really responsible for helping us get those items overseas, she was the real inspiration. And I wish I could describe to you that hottest day of that summer at LaGuardia or JFK, I can't remember, in the city of New York, trying to get those items there. But she would have been so proud to see all the gifts and supplies that they arrived on time, and the heartfelt appreciation that the Russian people expressed. What a wonderful time. I will remember this as perhaps one of the richest cultural experiences of my life. Now, folks, I know we can't all take a trip overseas, but we can do like what I did at Christmas time when I received a book. It was actually a sports biography on football about Southern football players. And I took a trip through this book, and I realized that I had attitudes and stereotyping and feelings of prejudice that this book revealed and changed my heart. Even though I've traveled to the South, it changed my heart and how I felt about Southerners. And you know, Mark Twain, who's considered by many the father of American literature, he said this, that fatal to attitudes of bigotry, prejudice, bias, and narrow-mindedness is travel. And he also stated, and I paraphrase, that nothing so liberates a man towards good graces of charity, kindness, compassion, and open-mindedness as when we travel and come in contact with a variety of different kinds of people. So like I said, you can't get on an airplane, but you can read a book. And you can even go across the street and visit a new neighbor or go to a neighboring town. I have all kinds of stories about just going to a different city, maybe an hour away, and how our hearts and lives are changed, and we build a bridge into other areas that we wouldn't usually go to, or we wouldn't usually feel like we have a compatibility for. You know, we live in a day when we're talking a lot about building walls. But man's history is replete with building walls and fortifications. I'm not here to discuss the validity of that or the setbacks of that, but I am here to talk about, remember this theme, 53 bridges, about building a bridge. We live on a small planet, and we have way more things in common with one another than we have as differences. And the one thing that we all have in common is the need to have love, to give love, and freely receive love. I'll never forget that day, folks. And I want you to see the entrance of that day when these Cossacks and these Russian people received us. I left a part of my heart there in Russia that day. And as you can see, I left most of my hair there too as well. So this is Dave Barnum from 53 Bridges. Remember, till the next time I see you or the next time we speak, I want you to keep your hearts and souls sweet. And on this Valentine's Day, I want to tell where I've left all my heart. And that is with this wonderful lady, my dear wife, Jamie. Happy Valentine's to you today, dear. Until the next time I see you, folks, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye for 53 Bridges.